Hello, 7th and 8th grade. I hope you are enjoying your day. We're going to be talking about slopes of lines. We've been graphing lines recently, and so just as we look at those lines, those fall into four basic categories, and we break those up by four different kinds of slopes. The first one, as you read it from left to right, just like you read a book, from left to right is if you start going uphill like this, you're increasing, going higher. We call that a positive slope. If you're going downhill, we call that a negative slope. If you're not going up or down, we just call that a zero slope. And if you can't walk on it at all, it's just a vertical line, then we call that undefined slope. And we'll see that more in a second on the zero and undefined. So we find the slope of a line by finding how much it goes up and down and dividing it by how much we run left or right. That's expressed as delta y over delta x, so whenever you get to calculus. Or there's this formula here that says the y value of the second point minus the y value of the first point divided by the x value of the second point minus the x value of the first point. So here's a nice easy one. This is actually two different problems. This first one, we have a point here and a point here. So remember, slope is rise over the run. So we first want to find out how much it rises. So from one point to the next point, notice it's going up 1, 2, 3, 4 steps. So the rise is 4. The run, how much it moves left or right, goes 1, 2, 3 steps. So the slope is going to be 4 over 3. Now we would not write this as a mixed number like 1 1/3. We just write it as a ratio just like that, 4/3. We do want to reduce it if you can reduce it, but we just write it as 4/3. Now, another way you would have done that is if you had started at this first point, so you could have gone down 1, 2, 3, 4, but if you went down, that would have been a negative 4. And then if you went left, 1, 2, 3, that would have been over a negative 3. But you'll remember that negative 4 over negative 3 would just be the same thing as 4 over 3. So just remember, if you are going up, that's a positive number, positive 4. If you're going right, that would be a positive 3, a positive number. If you're going down, that's negative. Or if you're going left, that would be negative. So you can kind of look at it as well, like here, this is going to have a positive slope, so that means my answer should have a positive answer. So it kind of helps you as you're doing that. Now sometimes they don't give us a picture, they give us a point or 2 points. And so this is the point, my first point, that's my x for my first point, and my y for my first point, my x for my second point, and my y for my second point. So just a reminder here, the slope formula is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So in this case, my y2 is the y from my second point, so negative 4, minus my y1, which is my y from my first point, in this case 5. Then I'm going to write x2, which is my x from my second point, in this case 8, minus my x1, which is my x from my first point. Negative 4 minus 5 is going to give me negative 9. 8 minus 2 is 6. So negative 9 over 6, but I can reduce that. Those both divide by 3. So it's going to be negative 3 over 2, which is the same thing as 3 over a negative 2, if you'd maybe gotten that one. Or we could write it negative 3 over 2. All three of those mean the exact same thing. Now, a couple more like this. We're going to say this is x1 and y1, x2 and y2. So again, using that formula, y2, negative 4, minus y1, 6, over x2, negative 6, minus x1, which is a negative 6. On the top, negative 4 minus 6 would give me negative 10. On the bottom, this is going to be negative 6 plus 6, which is going to be negative 10 over 0. Now, if you remember, we are not allowed to divide by 0. That is undefined. So this is undefined or undefined. So it would go there. So if you divide by 0, you can't do that. It's undefined. On this next one here, again, this is x1, y1, the x and y for my first point, x2, y2, my x and y for my second point. So this is going to be negative 4 minus a negative 4 over 6 minus a negative 9. That's going to be negative 4 plus 4 over 6 plus 9, which is going to be 0 over 15, which is equal to 0. So just as kind of a helpful hint, if you have the 0 on top, that's okay. If you have the 0 on the bottom, that's no. So this just equals to 0. This one is equal to undefined. And that covers everything that 7th grade needs to know. Your passcode is 314. You can go ahead and start your lesson. Passcode is 314. Now 8th grade, you have a couple more problem types. Here is what they look like. So it says find the run and the rise and slope given triangle ABC. So it's this little triangle here. So my rise here is 1, 2, 3. My rise is 3. My run looks like 2. They're both positive. And so my slope is going to be 3 over 2. Now it asks me to do the same thing again, but this time using triangle DEF. DEF, the big triangle. So the rise here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. The rise is 9. The run is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So rise over run would be 9 over 6, but notice those are both even. Sorry, those are both multiples of 3. So if I divided 9 by 3, I'd get 3. 6 divided by 3, I'd get 2. So my slope is 3 over 2. So are the two slopes computed above equal, y or y not? So the answer would be for sure a yes. So yes, they are equal because the two triangles are similar. Yes, they are equal because the two triangles are congruent. Well, they're not congruent because congruent means the exact same shape. So then I would go with this first answer here. Yes, they are equal because the two triangles are similar to each other. That's actually going to be true no matter which 2 points you pick on a line. If you computed the slope, calculate the slope, you'd always end up with the same thing. Alright, now this last one is a little bit tricky, but I think we can still figure it out. So what we're going to do is we're going to label this x1, y1, x2, y2, and this is my slope, which for some reason we mark as an m. You'll get that later. My formula is m is equal to y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So let's just plug in everything that we know. My m is negative 3. Y2 is r minus 18 over x2, which is negative 3 minus a negative 7. So simplifying this down, we have negative 3 is equal to r minus 18. This is the negative is going to change into a positive, so it's going to be negative 3 plus 7, so or 7 minus 3, which gives me 4. Now this is being divided by 4, so the opposite of dividing is to multiply. What we do to one side, we must do to the other. So 4 times negative 3 is negative 12. 4 divided by 4 is just 1. So on the right-hand side, I end up with r minus 18. And then I'm going to add 18 to both sides. Negative 18 plus 18 just goes to 0, which leaves me just the r on the right. On the left, I have a positive 18 minus 12, so I'm going to subtract 18 minus 12 gives me 6. So that means that r should be 6. So if this r was 6 whenever I calculated that slope, it would give me a slope of negative 3. So that gets you everything you all need to know 8th grade. And your passcode is 159. Good luck, guys.